Over 10 years ago, I started this stupid little YouTube channel, never thinking that I would ever make it to 100,000 subscribers, but guess what? We did. We did make it to 100,000 subscribers, and this is just gonna be a video that kind of explains the journey that I've gone through to get to 100,000 subscribers. We're gonna go back to, let's be fair, the game that kind of started it all, Binding of Isaac. I mean, I would probably play Afterbirth if we wanted to really go back to the game that started it all, but we're going to play Repentance. And we're going to play it modded. We're going to do an Eden run, just like the good old days. I've got a bunch of mods on, a bunch of nonsense going on. And we're going to play like it's the old times. What the hell is all this, man? Okay, no, I do not want to lock anything behind achievements. I do not want to look at anything. Just please let me play my game. We're starting with Proptosis. I don't even know what my active item is. It's a fish hook. Okay, sure. Here's your seed. JODBNXQ1. God, it's good to be back. And it's good to have you here today for a little 100,000 subscriber special. If you asked me 10 years ago when I started my channel if I thought that I would ever make it to 100,000 subscribers, I mean, the like 14-year-old that was making videos at the time probably would have been like, yeah, I'm the greatest person of all time because I was a piece of garbage. But the reality is, I mean, I don't think anybody ever fully expects to be, unless you don't have anxiety and you're just like an extremely confident person, but that's not me. So I don't think anybody ever really expects to make it big on these platforms. It's a difficult thing to do. It's a very difficult thing to be successful on any kind of content creating platform. YouTube, Twitch, even trying to become one of those people that just tweets like nonsense all day and hopes for a lot of retweets, even though Twitter doesn't really pay you for any of that. Look, man, I don't fully understand some of this stuff, but the reality is I never expected for this channel to have the success that it did. Let's start at the beginning. I'm gonna basically just talk about everything, and then also take some time to thank a lot of people that have kind of been here on the journey with me along the way. Place this, please. Beautiful. Grab this, please. It's a pill. Fantastic. I'm glad that Isaac hasn't changed at all in the past couple of years. Okay. Dice bag. Sure, I can't do crap in here, man. You want keys? You're gonna give me skeleton key? That would have been lit if you did, all things considered. Don't really need the heart. Okay, I'm gonna leave. This is a scam. Biggest scam of my life. Starting at the beginning, I actually, this is not technically the first YouTube channel that I've made. At least I don't think. This is, surprisingly, this is actually something that I don't remember. This is the worst sound. It's something I don't remember. I had a YouTube channel with a friend of mine. We made it thinking that we were going to become the next Yogscast. And it was a Minecraft channel because we were 14 and it was the 2010s. Pretty much everybody was just playing Minecraft and hoping for the best back then. So we started a channel. We did call ourselves Party Block Anthem, which is genuinely still to this day, one, a completely banger name, and two, the worst name of all time at the same time. But we uploaded one singular video, and then he was like, yeah, this is not fun for me. And then he stopped. But I freaking loved it, okay? I absolutely loved it. The thought of making content, playing games, and talking over it, doing something kind of innovative and interesting with my free time, right? It was never something that I was like, oh, I want this to be a career of mine, right? It was just I want to take all this spare time that I have and I want to do something more interesting with it. And it became a fun hobby for me. I started this channel, and at the beginning, I mean, it was only Minecraft content. Like, you can go back a long ways away on my channel, back to the beginning, and all you're going to find is Minecraft content. I did a lot of modded Minecraft stuff. I had a couple of videos that really popped off, and one in particular was a facts about Minecraft video. And I, again, ended up getting accused of, like, stealing facts from some other Minecraft YouTuber, but I legitimately had no clue what the hell people were talking about. I had no clue what was even going on. The facts were stupid things. It was literally me going on the Minecraft wiki and just looking for things to put in a video. It was honestly a horrible video. It's edited horrifically, but the video popped off and got like 100,000 views or something like that in a couple of days. So I kind of, you ride this high when you're making content, when you get a video that does well. And I saw my subscriber count grow. Like, overnight I went from, 0 subscribers to 1,000, right? And I was sitting at 1,000, and I sat at 1,000 for like a really long time. And eventually, when you're in high school, your attention span is close to 0. You're like a squirrel with ADHD. So I quit. I quit making content. There were some other extenuating circumstances that I had going on. I didn't have a desire to do it anymore, so I quit, and I just didn't upload anything for almost 2 years, to be honest. And then I ended up, I started dating my girlfriend, who I'm still dating today, and living with, and she, we were talking about things that we have enjoyed doing from our childhood and things like that, and I brought up, I actually made YouTube videos, and I said I really enjoyed doing it, and she went, well, why'd you stop? and it was kind of at that moment that I was like, I don't know. I don't know why I stopped. Like, I really enjoyed it, and it's something that I found a lot of fun in. So I started again. And at the time I was watching, I've always been a big Minecraft fan, right? I have no clue what to do in this room. This is, wait, hold on. I got an idea. We're taking a trip off of the conversation for a second, because I think I need to do like this, and then, ooh, he's crazy. Except how do you get up there, man? He's actually nuts. He's the best to ever do it. The hook comes in handy. Okay. That was actually, like, absolutely fantastic. I loved every second of it. Anyway, at the time I was watching a bunch of Minecraft YouTubers, and I was a big fan of, at the time it was Minecraft, right? And nowadays Minecraft has kind of just gone and died, right? Like, nobody watches Minecraft anymore. They had a huge falling out, and all of their best creators kind of left doing Minecraft, for a multitude of reasons. Look, this is not important. Frick, that was not what I wanted to do. I'm gonna die, man. I don't know any of these bosses. I'm dead as all hell. I think this is not going to go well for Tyler. You flashbanged me? Okay, just stay cool, calm, and collected. He's on a freaking rocket, dude. Okay. I'm dead. Alright. Well, you know what? Kind of sounds about right for me making Isaac content. Start again. Start again. We're good. Everything's fine, okay? Everything is fine. My audio is completely messed up, man. Increase my sound effects. It's been so long since I've played Isaac, man. It's all bent out of shape. But anyway, I started to watch a little series from one of the creators that I liked, B000100, and he was playing a game called The Binding of Isaac, and I was like enamored with it. I was like, this is the coolest game forever, and I was 14 and thought that this was going to change my life, playing The Binding of Isaac. So I bought it on my, at the time, PS4, and I was like, I'm gonna play through this whole dang game, right? So I'm playing through it, and I'm learning the game, and I'm having a blast with it. And then I get the idea, what if instead of making Minecraft content, what if I just bought this game on my computer? I had no way, you know, you have Elgatos and stuff today to record on a console. I didn't have any of that stuff. Like I'm a 14-year-old, right? I'm not buying an Elgato to record on my PS4. So I bought it on Steam on my computer, and I had this crappy, you know, Windows laptop at the time, like 4 gigabytes of RAM, you know, nothing insane, you know, integrated graphics, no graphics card or anything. And I went, let's try to mess around with doing a little Binding of Isaac on YouTube. So I started my original Afterbirth series. It was right when Afterbirth came out, and there were, I think that I ended up doing about 140 episodes of The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. And the reality is, of the 140, I think combined, they probably got the views of one Brutal Orchestra episode. It just, like, I was talking into the void, man. But I was having a blast while doing it. I was, you know, finding my commentary. You know, I kind of was doing what B00 was doing. I was talking about life and just, you know, telling stories and playing Isaac in the background. Learning the game, seeing what there was to see in The Binding of Isaac. And then I started to think about making some more interesting kind of ideas for videos, doing top 10s, right? Doing top 10 enemies, top 10 synergies. You know, there's so many topics to talk about in Isaac. And a couple of those videos really did well. I'm talking, to this day, they're still my most viewed videos on YouTube. And that's when I started to realize it was like, maybe I'm actually, like, I got something here. Maybe I can get something going with The Binding of Isaac on YouTube and be known as kind of one of those Isaac guys. So I kept on doing a lot of Isaac, but I never wanted to be known as an Isaac creator. I always wanted to be known as being somebody who played a large variety of games and just was more about the stories and the commentary and the vibes of the channel than about being insanely good at games. And, you know, there were kind of two kinds of YouTubers at the time. There were the people that were funny and all about the commentary, and a lot of the times that was what the Minecraft creators were that I was watching. And then there were the people that were, you know, I'm just insanely good at video games, right? You know, you had your ninjas and your frick, dude, I don't even remember who the hell was making YouTube videos all the way back then. But it was a new kind of discovery for me that I started to realize that I could have success on YouTube. So I put a lot of time into it. I put a lot of time into it. Oh, I didn't have health, man. Okay, well, I'm the lost. I'm dead. Okay. We're gonna start again. Brother, this is a mess. Isaac got way too hard. What'd they do to The Binding of Isaac, man? These mods are making the game ridiculous these days. Okay, it's all good. We'll get there in the end. It's ridiculous. So I put a lot of time into YouTube. And over time I started to realize that all of the major kind of content creators had other areas of support, right? Other content creators to talk about content creating with and to make videos with, and you had your Markipliers and your PewDiePies and all these guys that were doing this, you know, super fun multiplayer content, good for laughs, you know, all of this nonsense, and I went, you know what, I gotta find some other guys to make content with and just get some good stuff going. So I had a friend in college. His name was Ryan. He does not make content anymore. Shout out to Ryan if he's watching this, which he probably isn't. But he had expressed interest in doing some content creating. So him and I kind of started to make videos together. And then that kind of continued to evolve. I started to find, he was not super into Isaac, and I had ideas for like Isaac races and other funky Isaac related content, the Wheel of Isaac and all of these things that ended up becoming a reality. And there was a content creator who was big in the Isaac space, and his channel was much bigger than mine. I probably had about 3,000 subscribers at the time. He had close to 10, and I reached out to him and I went, hey, you wanna make some content together? And that's how my dear friend to this day, Mr. Penta Hybrid, him and I got in a call and started talking about anything, right? And it was this new kind of form of content, this free talking about anything but the game, Binding of Isaac gameplay. And him and I made a bunch of content together, and over time, we started to realize, between me and Ryan and then me and Penta, we started to realize we can make a full group of guys and get a bunch of people on board, have a streaming group. On Sundays, we'll do like a live stream, live show, get all of this, kind of formatted and good, and we're gonna have some fun and make some good content. So we made a group called the Unusual Crew. Name basically being that we were all a little unusual, and it had some really awesome people. It had me, Penta, Ryan, this guy who you probably have never heard of, Widzy, Jonas, a couple other guys, and it was a good group, and we had a lot of fun, right? It's all there is to it. But over time, we started to not make as much content, all of us, and I started to kind of drift away from making a ton of Isaac content, and I started to be making a lot of Slay the Spire content. So I was looking for a way to kind of get into the Slay the Spire space on YouTube, and I was struggling like big time. I had a pretty long running Slay the Spire series, my Slay the Ascension series, my Slay the Spire modded series, and I went, you know what, I have an idea, and that idea ended up being something called Draft Champions, which was a Slay the Spire drafting game that was run through Tabletop Simulator, and I wanted to pitch it to the person who I had kind of seen as the greatest Slay the Spire player like in the world that I had ever seen, and his name is Rhapsody. Some of you may know him, very good friend of mine to this day. But I reached out to him and I went, hey, I got an idea for a Slay the Spire series, and Rhapsody had like 20,000 more subscribers than me, so I knew that this was a huge stretch. And I pitched the idea to him and he went, okay, sure, let's do it Tuesday. And I was like, okay, let's do it Tuesday. So we got in the call. That's definitely the secret room, man. I refuse to believe otherwise. We got in the call, and it was like instant chemistry, right? Just being able to play Slay the Spire, again, talk about anything and everything, and just mess around and do wacky stuff in Slay the Spire. And it was a blast. I still miss that series to this day. It's 100% my fault that it's not still ongoing, to be perfectly honest. I just eventually ran out of time, to be honest with you, to do it. That should have hit. Man, I thought the water moved quicker. Just leave. But I loved every second of doing Slay the Spire Draft Champs. And partway through that series, Rhapsody and I talked about Minecraft, right? And he had never played Minecraft before, and obviously I had played a lot of Minecraft. My entire YouTube channel was based around it for a while. So I told him we should play Minecraft sometime in the video, just as kind of like an offhanded comment, and I never really expected to ever even do any Minecraft with him. But then he messages me and he goes, "Hey, been thinking about what you said, and let's do a Minecraft series, right? Let's do one where we can just, similarly to how we do this series, just talk about anything and everything while playing some Minecraft in the background, right?" And he goes, "And I've got 2 guys who are interested as well. Could be a little bit of a fun little mini series for us." And I went, "Okay, let's do it, right? Let's mess around and see what we can do." So we start Wholesome Boys Build a Brewery, which is this probably 35 episode long Minecraft series. If you haven't watched it, I'm gonna tell you it probably still stands today as maybe my favorite series I've ever done on YouTube. It was just this extremely wholesome Minecraft series between me, Rhapsody, and his 2 friends, Retromation and Orbital Potato. And it was the first time that I had ever talked to Rito or Orbi ever, was in the first episode of that series. And it was basically like we got in a call, we went, "Nice to meet you. I'm Tyler. 3, 2, 1, go." And then started the series. And ended up being just one of the best kind of moments and series of my YouTube career. I miss it every single day. I mean, it really was, it was a special series, and I would not really be where I am on YouTube today if it wasn't for doing that series with those guys, because what ended up coming out of it was the Wholesome Verse. And the Wholesome Verse, as many of you probably know today, is a pretty large streaming group, not a screaming group, pretty large streaming group, kind of led by Rito, although he will never probably agree that he's the leader of it. But he came to me and he was basically like, "Hey, I have an idea for this large I can't say streaming, man, large streaming community, and I think that it could really get big." And he goes, "And I want to ask you to be a part of it." And at the time, I was still with the Unusual crew. I was just kind of making the Minecraft series on the side. And I went, "I'd love to, but if I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna be like all in on it, I've got some guys that I want to bring with me, right? Like I'm not abandoning my old crew to join this one." So he was like, "That's fine, bring whoever, we'll combine, make it all good." So I went back to the Unusual crew and I went, "Who's interested?" And I ended up, I took a couple of them with me: Penta, Modiply, Jonas, Vladimir Lado, and I'm probably forgetting somebody else at this point, and I'm gonna feel like a piece of garbage after I finish recording this. So I'll edit it in post if I forget somebody. And we all packed our bags and we went, Unusual crew be no more, and we started the Wholesome Verse. And from there, I mean, it just turned into an amazing community. I mean, we still, to this day, the Wholesome Verse is bigger than it's ever been, and we continue to just make a ton of content, streaming on Wednesdays and sharing ideas and just being this, force in the indie and roguelike space. And I thank Rito a lot for setting all of it up, and kind of getting us to the point where it was, all of a sudden it was more than just like a group of streamers being together. It was a group of professionals making good content, but it was also, most importantly, a group of good friends at that point. We never, there's never any bad blood going on in the Wholesome Verse. It's, I mean, the name kind of lends to itself being wholesome, but it's really just a bunch of guys who enjoy making content together, and there's a lot of good ideas and stuff that are shared in the Wholesome Verse as well. So that's kind of that's how we get to where we are today in terms of people that I'm making content with, and friends through the industry. I've worked with a lot of other really awesome individuals who are definitely worth mentioning. People like Time to Grind. Been a pleasure to make videos with him over these years. Huts had a couple of really awesome Isaac collaborations with him. Same with Wells Knight. Still blows my mind to this day that as a massive Hermitcraft fan, I'm able to DM Wells and play some games together at times. Just some really awesome people in the indie and roguelike space, and I'm more surprised kind of to this day that I made it this far in this space. Beginning as a Minecraft creator, turning it into a full-time indie and roguelike space. There were a lot of other games that I had that popped off over the years. It's always interesting to look at my YouTube stats, because you can see just these massive spikes along the way. And those spikes basically correlate with the initial Minecraft video has a huge spike of views. Then you have kind of a couple of the top 10s that popped off for Isaac. Then you have, it's very good. Then you have Repentance as a spike. Then you have Luck Be a Landlord, really awesome deck building roguelike that was a slot machine, and I hopped into it immediately when I got the email for it from the developer. And to be honest with you, and I love Trampoline Tales. Dan, love him to death. He's one of my favorite game devs that I've kind of had the experience to talk to and work with. We even did a little interview for Luck Be a Landlord's 1.0 launch. You can find that somewhere on YouTube. It's a pretty interesting kind of video to hear his kind of mind work through how Luck Be a Landlord was made. If you like the game, it's well worth a listen. But when I first played Luck Be a Landlord, I really didn't like it. I thought that it was fine, but it wasn't anything special. So I did one episode and then kind of just dropped it. And then the video blew up, and it did really well. And then a couple of other bigger indie content creators picked it up. Northern Lion, Dan Giesling, and so I went back to it and I made some more content, and then it blew up, man. I mean, I was getting 50,000 views on each video, and it was the biggest spike of views that I've had on a non-Isaac video. That wasn't, the initial Minecraft video, ever. And that's when I was really I can make the indie game kind of content creator variety thing work. If I need to leave the Isaac community, I can make it happen. I can make the switch to something else. So I had a bunch of other games that kind of had similar results. Games like Space Gladiators, Brotato, now recently Brutal Orchestra, and Spirits Abyss, and Void Rains Upon Her Heart, and nowadays, I mean, we're kind of just cruising with YouTube content. But it took a lot for me to get to a point where I felt like there's some funky cards, man, in modded Isaac these days. It took a while to get to the point where I felt like there was life beyond Isaac. I mean, it's not an understatement to say that the majority of the content on my channel, it's actually a lie. The majority of my content is not Isaac. It's still only about, I think, 15% of my channel's videos are Isaac at this point. But anything that wasn't Isaac never pulled the views. So, I always had some kind of Isaac series running on the channel. And it's always tough to make the decision to quit making your best series, right? And it's a decision that's still difficult to this day for me to do. Sometimes you're no longer interested in playing a game. You sit down to record and you go, God, I'm dreading making an episode on this game right now. And it's a difficult thing as a creator, and a lot of people, you know, they don't understand that. They just think that we kind of remain always thrilled to play a game, and the reality is that sometimes that was very loud. We sometimes will continue to play a game solely because it's getting the views, and then eventually you just reach a point where you're like, I just can't play it anymore, even though the views are still high on the video. So I made the decision last year to kind of drop Isaac for the first time from my channel in like 6 years. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it hurt my channel a lot, right? People were still kind of looking for Isaac, and it made it tough to kind of get content out, because every time you would upload, you would just you wouldn't be pulling the views that you were pulling before. So there's a level of discouragement that comes with it, and it's harder when you're doing YouTube as a full-time job, which is something that I don't do, and a lot of people still don't realize this, but I work a full-time job outside of making content. Content creating was, and will always be just a hobby for me. And I think that it's a lot harder if you're making content full-time to make the decision that I'm just not having fun with a certain game or a certain kind of content anymore, and to just quit making that content because your content's paying the bills, right? But the reality is, even when you're not doing content creating full-time, it's impossible to separate making content for fun and caring about views. You can still make content for fun, but there's just inherently in the human brain, when there's numbers on the screen dictating, you know, how your channel is performing, you're always going to pay attention to them, and it gets disappointing at times when you're making content that you love making, and it's just not pulling the views that you want or expected to pull. And that's why, I mean, there's series that I've done that if it was up to me and just up to, you know, having fun on YouTube, I'd probably still be making them. You know, I love puzzle games on YouTube. I love making puzzle games, or like playing puzzle games and making puzzle game content. But I'm like totally ass at puzzle games. So a lot of people, you know, they're used to high action Binding of Isaac gameplay. So then they get to a puzzle game where half the time I'm just sitting there like talking through my thoughts, and people aren't interested in that, right? So I'll make a puzzle game series and then I'll cancel it after like 5 episodes, right? You know, I would happily go back and play a ton more Baba Is You. I canceled that series pretty early into its existence, and I still to this day freaking love Baba Is You and would happily play some more of it. But I haven't been able to slip into the puzzle game side of the YouTube industry quite yet, for sure. But there's series that I have done that I've had to drop just because of views, and it's always a difficult kind of thing to come to, because the YouTube algorithm is just, I mean, it's pure randomness sometimes. You never really know whether or not you're going to end up having a good month on YouTube, having a crap month on YouTube. It comes down to, I mean, I almost quit YouTube this year. Like, my channel in January of this year, 2023, it was at one of the lowest points my channel has ever been at. And there were a lot of circumstances as to why. I did end up disabling a form of ads on my channel, and I think that YouTube throttled like a lot of my impressions as a result of that. Because I was just trying to make a better viewing experience for you guys, and in the process, I think I literally hurt all of my chances at getting views, because when I turned it back on, all my views flowed back in. But that is extremely beside the point. Not important for this scenario. But it's an interesting kind of I don't know, it's interesting being a creator. And I sometimes get people that will ask me for advice on being a creator. I mean, hell, the other day I had my sister's fiance's brother ask me about making a YouTube channel. And he was like, any tips for doing it? And I more or less sent back, don't. just don't do it. Because the reality is it's a lot of fun, and I love making content. But it's one of those things where it consumes your life, man. Like, it eats up a lot of your time and energy. Can I go in there, man? I can't. Okay. It consumes a lot of your time and energy to make content. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm recording like 3 hours a day along with an 8-hour, day job. And that's just to put out, the 2 videos a day that I do. Some of these content creators that are busting out this highly edited, content, it's night and day from what I'm doing. The reality is I'm sitting here, I'm making the world's simplest 100,000 subscriber special by just basically talking about my career on YouTube over the past 10 years and playing Isaac in the background. I'm gonna throw it in my video editor for 2 seconds and then, oh, is mom already? Okay, fair enough. Gonna throw it in the video editor and then it's going to be done and uploaded to YouTube, right? Some of these people are spending hours and hours and hours editing and making all of these fancy videos, and it's time consuming, man. And it's a hard, there's still, it's tough because I don't want to say that it's all luck, right? I do think that there's a level of luck as to why I got to 100,000 subscribers. I'm always going to be critical of my own content. There was a devil deal that I just totally skipped. I still don't think that my content is really all that good. But I guess that's just me being critical of myself at this point, since clearly some of you enjoy my content if 100,000 of you have subscribed to me. But it's a mentally rough career and hobby to have. Reading comments, I can't even begin to tell you how many death threats I have received over the years while doing YouTube. Random unsolicited DMs of nasty stuff. I mean, it's nonstop. It's a tough career to get into, but it's one of those really highly rewarding ones as well. And I don't regret it any singular day of my time doing it. It's a special situation to be able to connect with so many different people around the world. I mean, hell, I'm literally in a week and a half going to Orbital Potato's wedding in Scotland. I never in a million years thought that I would be going to a wedding in Scotland to begin with, let alone a wedding in Scotland for a content creator that I worked with. A content creator that I spent probably hundreds of hours in calls with, 84 episodes of a Fortnite series, right? Talking about stupid garbage and making yo mama jokes the entire time. Like, it's just a wild... It's one of those things where if you told somebody in the 1970s that we would be able to meet people all over the world and play video games with them and have an entire entertainment industry based around it, they would think you were insane, right? And just to see like where the world evolved to, it's a really crazy scenario. So it's cool. It's very cool. I've been rambling this entire time. This is normally where if I was doing a presentation, I would say any questions. And if you leave questions about anything in my career in the comments, I will answer every single last one of them. And that's one of those things with YouTube that I try to do a lot, is like community involvement. Anybody that's in the Discord will know that I try to be active in the Discord, talk to you guys, I read every comment that gets posted and try to reply to any of them that merit replies. And I think it's important for other people's voices to be heard. I think it's important to provide people an out from day-to-day life. I don't know how many people I have talked to. Dude, how the hell do you use any of these items in this game these days? I don't know how to use White Pony. They've changed like everything. Okay, there we go. White Pony kind of weird now. I can't tell if it's cracked or horrible, to be honest. Anyway, just met some really awesome people. I want to thank a bunch of people at this point for just various anythings over time. Dude, how do I escape out of the map? Can I leave the map? It's a glass D100. This seems like a terrible idea. Okay, it's a mom's knife run. And the crowd goes mild. Okay, I mean, look, mom's knife is fine. It's great, to be honest. I'm not gonna complain about it. I don't know what these little no signs are on the ground, but look, mom's knife going okay. Am I gonna fight Hush on this run? I'm gonna be an idiot and do it. Yeah, okay. Kind of forgot about Hush, if I'm honest. Oh, that's good. I have the stupid thingy. I also have a glitch. Oh, this is a mess, man. This is a mess. Anyway, I want to thank some people. I'm gonna start with content creators that I've worked with. Okay, I wanna especially thank every last member of the Wholesomeverse. I want to thank Rito for sure for making the Wholesomeverse, being a good friend, somebody that I can always reach out to about questions with YouTube and just questions about life, to be honest with you. He's an incredible person and an incredible friend for anybody that follows his channel. You already know what kind of person Rito is, but he's about as much of a gem in, you know, real life as he is as a content creator on his platform. Just a very, very great individual. Every last member of the Wholesomeverse and Unusual crew, Penta Hybrid, you know, taking a chance on me as a very small content creator at the time. You know, Rhapsody getting me into Slay the Spire and that whole community. You know, Orbital for the countless numbers of hours that I sat and complained about my day job to him in calls. Every last person. Jonas for the tech conversations that we had. I mean, it's just, it's never ending. Some amazing people in this space. I need to pick this up and then go. Okay, this is gonna be a tough fight, to be honest with you. I'm kind of dreading this. I haven't fought Hush in, like, I don't know, a year. So this will be interesting. Luckily, I've done this fight about, I don't know, 100,000 times in my life, so should still have the juice in me to get it done. I'm not gonna lie. I want to thank some game developers. A lot of good friends that I've met through the game development industry. I want to especially shout out Dan Trampoline Tales, Luck Be a Landlord's developer. Been awesome to watch Luck Be a Landlord grow, talk with you in interviews, and just in general, your game gave me a giant boost on YouTube when I needed it. I want to thank Mr. Ben Starr, Revita developer, for being not only an amazing, you know, developer for an amazing game in Revita. I'm extremely excited to see where Revita 2.0 goes. Revita refocused and kind of get to play your baby that you're going to be developing and making. I want to thank Talia, developer of Brutal Orchestra, and Nico, coder of Brutal Orchestra. Game gave me a massive boost to my channel when I needed it, and you two have been nothing but an incredible little ray of light in the indie and roguelike space, and just in my community and in my life over the past couple of months. I want to thank Blobfish, creator of Space Gladiators and Brotato. There is an item in the game that is me in both games. The Tyler item is a reference to me. Still like one of the coolest things that I have ever experienced to be in a game. So I want to massively thank you. I'm gonna die in this room, maybe? I'm not gonna die in this room. Dude, I'm petrified right now. Because I don't know what half of these enemies are doing. And I don't also know what half of these... I don't know what any of these little things are. Still just kind of freaking me out a little bit. That's a secret room, apparently. That was a wall mimic, is what that was. Okay, we're good. We're good. Just breathe, man. Just breathe. And finally, I want to thank my family. Okay, I want to thank my mom and dad. They absolutely supported me doing this stupid hobby when I was still living at their house. I have videos with my dad on the channel. You can find a Rocket League series with my dad if you're so inclined to watch us suck at Rocket League and talk about Cleveland sports during it. I want to thank my sister, who also is probably my biggest fan. I swear to God, she has watched more of my content than any of you. I mean, she's literally going back and watching my content in chronological order from my first video down to my most recent videos, and she's in like 2019 or something right now. So she's literally making huge headway. It's very weird still, but I appreciate it immensely and love her to death. I want to thank my mom for all the times she literally, she's also probably my biggest fan. She just sits leading up to 100,000. She would send me like almost every day my subscriber count on Social Blade, telling me that I was getting close to 100,000. And they all celebrated when I eventually hit it. And most importantly, I want to thank my girlfriend Anna. She puts up with me doing this every day. It's obviously not a huge toll on a relationship to make content, but it is a lot of time that I spend, you know, sitting inside of my office recording YouTube videos, right? It's a lot, and she puts up with me complaining about it and complaining about crappy comments that I receive and me complaining about every last component of making content. And I appreciate every last second of it and absolutely love her to death. You don't make it on YouTube without having like a massive support community to have behind you. And that goes for the people in my Discord as well. I want to thank all the moderators that I've had over the years, people that have just become integral parts of my community and help me to continue to grow as a creator. You all know who you are. I'm very blessed to be in a position where I've been able to meet so many awesome people and work with so many awesome people and just, you know, be able to make it to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's a wild scenario still. It's weird because there's a part of me that I don't really think I deserve it, and I also don't necessarily think that it's that big of a deal, even though I know it's, I mean, like, I can fill a football stadium with people that are subscribed to me. Like, that's a lot of people. But it's still like this weird, I don't know. It's just weird, man. It's still just a little weird. And I still think I'm still trying to come to terms with and understand that I'm not just like a small creator anymore. 100,000 people is a frick ton of people, right? It's a lot of people. So, from the bottom of my heart, you know, thank you for everything along the way. I'm not planning on stopping content creating anytime in 2023. I'm going to tell you that at least. Who knows what the future holds. Again, it's It's not my career, and it never will be, and I'm not going to go into, you know, the logistics of that in this video. You know, I've talked pretty ad nauseum in the past about what I think about doing YouTube full time. I think it's I absolutely massively respect everybody that decides to do it. I just don't think that I ever could. It's one of those things. It's a tough career to go into. So I will not be doing that for anybody that is asking. But I won't be stopping doing my favorite hobby that exists. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I know that it was mainly me rambling for 50 minutes about my life. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks again. Bye-bye.